Hi, my name's Phil. I like talking about politics. And in this video, I'd like to discuss the High Court decision today, which holds that the government's Rwanda scheme is legal, insofar as the court has any jurisdiction. But what does the judgment say or not say? And more particularly, what is the politics of the situation going to be now? But first, if you'd like to be notified of daily news and politics, please subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification icon. So the High Court has today ruled that the government's asylum policy regarding the Rwanda scheme is legal. Doesn't necessarily mean it is fully legal in international law, but as far as a domestic court being sensitive to domestic law is concerned, it is. It's worth remembering that it is the government who determine what British law is. This is why there's a bill passing through Parliament to allow the government to disapply the Northern Ireland Protocol. It won't make it legal in international law because it can't do that. It's just to stop British courts having a problem with it. And one of the key arguments that was made against the government regarding the Rwanda scheme seems to be that there was an implied requirement for member states to assess each asylum application individually, in the Refugee Convention before relocating any claimants. But the court disagreed. They made the point that international treaties like this are very carefully considered, that every word is very carefully considered, and that they essentially mean exactly what they say. You can't just assume there's an implication here that's not explicit. Now, before I get onto the politics, let us just remind ourselves exactly what the scheme is and why people are still opposed to it on both moral and practical grounds. So the scheme is sold to the public as paying Rwanda to take a load of asylum seekers crossing the channel with the intention of deterring future refugees from seeking asylum in the UK for fear of ending up in Rwanda. The government, however, also claim that the asylum seekers sent to Rwanda will be helped to build new lives there. Oh, it's all going to be marvellous. So even within the government's PR, there's a contradiction. Before I even go over the explicit lies, if the refugees being taken to Rwanda will be able to build new, productive lives free from persecution, how exactly is that a deterrent to people seeking asylum in the UK? It's only a deterrent if Rwanda is a hellhole where the refugees will face as bad or worse treatment compared to where they're fleeing from. And if that's the case, and according to our own government it is the case, then they can't claim that this is a humane way to treat vulnerable people in need of asylum, and it would be much less popular amongst the public. So that's the obvious contradiction out the way. But there are also other aspects of the policy which the government tend to keep quiet about. The first is that the deal with Rwanda involves sending a small number, very small number of asylum seekers in the UK over there, and then bringing an unspecified number back. So it's like an asylum seeker exchange. And as far as I know, there are no details on how many we bring back. If it's a 1-to-1 ratio, then it doesn't even mean a net reduction in asylum seekers in the UK, even a small one. The government don't mention that one in their press releases, do they? But it's in their agreement. It's on their website. Another misleading aspect to the policy is that some members of the public were led to believe that the asylum claims would be heard in Rwanda. It's like an offshore processing centre. It's like, well, why not just build it in France? No, Rwanda's the place to build it. But then the idea is that those who are found to have genuine claims will come back to the UK. Well, this is not true. The intention is that they settle in Rwanda, and God help anyone whose asylum claim fails, which will be heard, by the way, according to Rwandan law, not British law. Another misleading aspect is the cost. So we've already paid £140 million to Rwanda just to agree the deal. Not a single refugee has been sent there. And Rwanda has said it could deal with no more than 200 claimants a year. The government themselves seem to be suggesting costs of like £100,000 an asylum seeker for this nonsense, which is excessive as it is. But if we've already paid £140 million so far and there's more to come, and Rwanda say they're only going to manage 200 a year, and given that the deal means we bring some back from Rwanda, then surely the cost is way, way higher. In fact, let's be clear about why the scheme can't work from a practical point of view. First of all, it's not going to act as a deterrent to others. We can scrub that one out. People fleeing war and persecution are not going to be experts in the UK asylum system. You know, they'll be coming here because either they have family here, or because they speak some English, or because they've heard good things about the country. If it weren't the case, they wouldn't be making such hazardous journeys. I mean, do the government think the people smugglers, whom they claim are the main target of their plans, are telling people that they're taking the money off, that, oh, by the way, yeah, I'll pay to get you across the UK, but your journey's doomed because if you make it there, you're just going to be sent to Rwanda anyway. That's if you don't drown in the channel. No, of course they're not. Also, as I say, the government are publicly saying how great Rwanda is. What a brilliant life these people are going to get in order to placate the people who would otherwise not approve of it in this country. So the deterrent factor simply isn't there. The scheme is going to cost a fortune. The gammons mostly whine about immigrants because they think they're a drain on resources. Nothing could be further from the truth because migrants contribute more to public services than UK citizens. Also, you only have to look at other countries. Take Italy, for example, smaller country, smaller GDP. But they take more asylum seekers than the UK, and there are no problems with overcrowded schools, hospitals, or any other public service. The capacity of public services is 100% down to government policies. Sometimes war, sometimes some bugger is bombing the crap out of you, but in peacetime for a wealthy country, it's the government. And the final nonsense is that, you know, cost and lack of deterrence aside, it doesn't even reduce the number of asylum seekers. Like 200 a year, grow up, and it's not even 200 a year because, like I said, the deal allows Rwanda to say, okay, we'll take these, but can you take some of these? We don't like them. You know, we've got these asylum seekers, some of them are homosexuals. We don't really go for that in this country. So you have those, and we'll take these, and there you go. You know, so what? But even if it were a net 200 a year, which it's not going to be, grow up. How is that going to make any impact? The purpose of this plan is to make it look like the Tories are doing something. It's a fairly standard tactic for them. Put a scheme in place that they say will do the job, but they will, you know, they'll say it won't work overnight. Oh, I've got to give it time. Got to give it time. Rome wasn't built in a day. So we give it time and it doesn't work. Quelle surprise. So then what they do is they just shift the blame to another factor and then announce a new plan. We saw this through the pandemic with Boris Johnson every time. Oh, we're going to do this thing, it's going to be marvellous. Then it wasn't, didn't work. Oh, yeah, but we've now got this other plan. Then that doesn't work. Oh, yeah, but now we've got this other plan. And it just keeps going on and on and on. The whole hideous cycle repeats until people just finally get sick of them and boot them out of office for years. If you just stand back and look at conservative governments, it's just what they do. They blame some bugger for some problem. They announce some plan that says, oh yeah, that'll work. It doesn't work. Then they go, oh yeah, but now it's the problem, it's these people. You know, when it comes to immigration and Brexit, for example, oh, we need to leave the EU to stop this migrant problem. Then the migrant problem, they say, gets even worse. Oh yeah, but now the problem's the European Court of Human Rights. Well, you know, if the Tories, gammons and other associated acolytes of outrage really wanted to stop channel crossings, if they really wanted to stop that, they'd take some money, less than they're giving to Rwanda, and they'd build a processing centre in France. The French authorities have said this is fine. In fact, they've encouraged it. Claimants would then be processed by British staff, so it would help with job creation, and according to British law. Successful claimants could then come to the UK. The gammons claim they've got no issue with genuine asylum seekers, and they'd be able to get a job. At the moment, we've got a claimant, because it's taking so long to process everything, they're not in work. You know, they could be put... We've got massive labour shortages in this country. It'd be useful. Unsuccessful claimants would then be removed, never having been in the UK. As for channel crossings, because there would be a genuinely safe asylum route to the UK, any actual channel crossings taking place illegally could be considered just that. And if any on board of such a boat, maybe they didn't know about the processing centre, they claim asylum, we go, okay, we'll send you back to France. You get processed there. But none of them would need to be brought to the UK. Any gammons got a problem with that? I've not heard of any objections to that scheme. The problem is the government are not presenting that scheme as an option, are they? Obviously, opposition parties have continued to urge the government to not go ahead with it on the grounds that it's inhumane, hideously expensive and completely ineffective. It'll fall on deaf ears. The government know it's ineffective. Or rather, they know it's ineffective as an asylum policy, but it's not really an asylum policy. They're not interested in dealing with asylum. They just want to get the gammons to vote for them. But as I've said before, unless the plan actually works, They're surely just going to push potential voters into the hands of Reform UK. And the plan is not going to work, because it's complete and utter bollocks. But there we are. Those are my thoughts. Let me know yours in the comments below. Hope you found the video interesting. If you did, please click the like button if you'd like to support the channel further, the join button for memberships, and until next time, I'll see you later.